Alrighty, so let's do a little bit of a news of the week. And if you are a New England Revolution fan, I bet this week must be a very happy week for you. Not just because of the win against the Quakes, but the fact that it seemed like there's a new era that has just happened with New England this week. So after they announced the firing of Mike Burns, which he was there for about 14 years and longtime GM with the New England Revolution. Yesterday, they announced that Bruce Arena is now the new head coach and the technical director of the New England Revolution. Yup, he's back, guys. The godfather of U.S. soccer and the godfather of MLS is back in a coaching job with an MLS team. And I know before some people will say, well, he's a very MLS 1.0 kind of head coach. And, New England, a very MLS 1.0 kind of franchise, are hiring an MLS 1.0 kind of head coach. What else is news? But in some way, I think it's definitely a good hiring. I think, with Bruce Arena, we know that he has done so much for U.S. soccer and also for MLS, and we know he is one of the most successful head coach in MLS, and probably, I believe he won the most MLS Cup that any head coach has ever won. Yeah, that experience and that kind of just experience will definitely bring in with this New England team. And I think in some way, I will say this with Bruce Arena and New England. I think one of the way that if Bruce Arena is going to turn around this New England team is that he needs some backing and he needs some money from the owner so that he can get guys that he wants from the squad. And we know that the Kraft family is one of the most notorious kind of owners that do not spend money on their team. They don't usually splash out the cash to get some fancy kind of DP signing or TAM signing, which Bruce Arena desperately need in order to change his team. And, when I look at this New England team, it's not a bad squad. It's a squad that I think can definitely maybe compete for playoffs. But having said that, there's still a lot of problems with this team. And a lot of that has to lie on the defense and the midfield where it's pretty bad. Especially on the defensive end where, yes, I know they only gave up one goal against the Quakes, but if you look at the previous couple of games, they keep giving up 4 goals every single game. So they need to figure out that defensive end issue and probably bring in a couple of TAM player in the defensive end and maybe bring in a DP in terms of the attack too. I mean, I know that their attack is probably their strongest point with guys like Panea and Fagundes and also Caicedo and also Carlos Gil. All those guys can be a creative player and can score goals for their team, but I just feel like they might need one more kind of attacking piece and especially a DP piece to make sure that they can score goals regularly and that they, even if their defense is going to be hot garbage and give up a couple of goals, at least they have some goal scoring kind of talent to maybe outscore those teams. So yeah, I think that's one thing that New England need to do in terms of giving some backing for Bruce Arena. And it will also be interesting who will go to New England now, because with Bruce Arena there, and I know he's a very credible kind of head coach that does attract a lot of big talents to his team, it's going to be interesting to see who now will go to New England and that maybe the fans are going to be excited again. I expect the attendance should be go a little bit higher now with Bruce Arena there because, like I said, he's the godfather of U.S. soccer. He has done so much with U.S. soccer and also so much with MLS. But moving on, Claudio Reyna says that we have to get it right in terms of the NYCFC stadium. And in some way, I kind of do agree with the fact that he said that he needs to get this right and find the right location for the new stadium for NYCFC because for anyone that lives in New York or anyone that know New York, it's a place that it's very hard to find space to build a stadium. And in fact, stadium lease must be the highest than any other cities in the country right now. So it's no surprise that NYCFC is struggling to find a stadium. And obviously, I know Claudio Reyna is not going to do what the Red Bulls do, which is just build a stadium across the river and across the state of New Jersey. And there you go. That's our stadium plan. And although that should be kind of the strategy because, New Jersey, that's where most of the land is to build a stadium. You saw how it gone with Red Bull Arena and how nobody actually goes to those games. And it's not because there isn't a lot of interest with the Red Bulls, but it's because the stadium location is just terrible. Like, they built a stadium where there's no public transportation. Well, there is public transportation, but it's hard to get to there. And also the fact that it's also hard to get there by car either way. So yeah, obviously Claudio Reyna, he knows that he does not want to do what the Red Bulls do, which is just randomly build a stadium in New Jersey and expect people to show up. He needs to find a right location, hopefully in the New York area. But that being said, I will also say that the clock is kind of ticking for Claudio Reyna, because I think it is clear that they need to move out of Yankee Stadium sooner or later. Like, I think if I have to say what's the worst stadium in MLS right now, it's hands down Yankee Stadium, because it's not a soccer stadium. It's a baseball kind of stadium, and the name itself can tell the story of why it's not a soccer stadium, because the Yankees is a baseball team, and it's only fit for baseball. And when they built that stadium, it was not fit for soccer, even though in the past they actually have Yankee Stadium as a soccer kind of venue, although that's the old Yankee Stadium. This one is not fit for soccer, and you can clearly see how it's kind of almost like it's a joke, the fact that NYCFC is still playing in a baseball stadium, and it just feels very MLS 1.0 kind of ways of them playing in not a soccer specific stadium as most teams are right now. But that being said, moving on, there's a report that RSL forward Joao Plata could soon move to Liga MX, and they said that he could be moving to the newly promoted team, Atlético St. Louis. And I definitely can see this move happening, because Joao Plata, he hasn't really got a lot of minute with RSL, and I definitely can see that he has a lot of talent, but the reason why he hasn't got a lot of minute is because injuries, and also RSL is not really using him correctly. So I have a feeling RSL would think about selling him, and we don't know how much they will get out of him, but it's definitely a good trade-off when you have a guy that is just regular sitting on the bench and also regularly kind of injure a lot, that you need to get rid of that asset. And also, I think Joao Plata occupy one of the international spot for RSL, so yeah, that's another good asset to kind of get rid of if you're not going to play him regularly. But moving on, Carlos Vela has not been selected by the Mexican Gold Cup preliminary squad, and that most likely he will be sitting out of the Gold Cup. And this one shouldn't be a big surprise, because Carlos Vela, he has repeatedly said that he does not want to join Mexico for the Gold Cup. And in some way, I kind of agree with him, because the Gold Cup, yeah, I mean, it has really lost its kind of meaning in terms of a respectable tournament, and it's almost like a glorified kind of friendly tournament where it's pretty much just Mexico, US, maybe occasionally Costa Rica, and most notably Jamaica sneaking it in there, but it's nothing compared to Copa America or the Euros or even the AFC Asian Cup in the AFC, in the Asian part of the country. And it's just, the Gold Cup has really lost its meaningfulness, or I guess maybe the Gold Cup never was kind of a tournament that a lot of international team actually take it very seriously. I mean, it's good to win it because you will go to the Confederation Cup, but that being said, the Confederation Cup also have started to lose its meaning, and that there's already rumor that they are going to scrap the Confederation Cup, and they're no longer going to do that because it's a meaningless kind of tournament. It's just a tournament to get extra cash into CONCACAF and just get extra cash off of the fans by, of course, overcharging them. I mean, I remember how in most of the Gold Cup game, and especially the final, they actually overcharge people to go to a final, even though it's just, I mean, in a cup final, you see most country, they overcharge people now, but still, in a Gold Cup final, the fact that they were charging people $100 to go to a Gold Cup final, and the US and Mexico is not even involved in it in the last Gold Cup, that just says it all, that CONCACAF clearly are using this tournament as a cash cow more than actually a tournament that is known as as a real kind of a tournament. So I understand why Carlos Vela decided to skip it, and he also said that he's more focused on his team and his family, which I don't blame him too. I mean, he's in excellent form with LAFC, and this is also going to be great news for LAFC, knowing that they will not lose him during the Gold Cup break, as most MLS team will probably lose a couple of their starters that's joined their national team for the Gold Cup. But moving on into the final news is that Antoine Griezmann has announced that he will be leaving Atletico Madrid and to join Barcelona. And I know you probably think, well, what does that has to do with MLS? Griezmann, of course, he has repeatedly said that he want to come to MLS, and that this All-Star game, Atletico Madrid is gonna be the team that MLS All-Star will be playing. And with him leaving Atletico Madrid, most likely he will not be at Orlando for this All-Star game this year. And in some way, this is also bad news for Inter Miami, because Inter Miami there's been a lot of report that Griezmann might be joining Inter Miami, and Beckham has kind of convinced Griezmann to join his team. But with Griezmann now joining Barcelona and that Inter Miami launch next year, yeah, I don't think they're going to get Griezmann. Like, I don't think Griezmann is just going to be there for a year. And maybe what this means that maybe Inter Miami might be thinking about going for Luis Suárez, because with Griezmann being there in Barcelona, most likely Suárez would be pushed out. And there's been a lot of rumor that Suárez might be leaving Barcelona, and that he's not happy with the way that he's not doing very well with Barcelona right now. And we'll see if that is going to be the case. But like I said, this is bad news for Inter Miami, for them wanting to get Griezmann, and now he decided that he's going to continue to stay in Europe and play in one of the best clubs in the world. But yeah, there you have it. That is pretty much it for the news of the week. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think of all these news? And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you guys next time.